Hi, hey guys, Nick Tunbridge here, Stutter Coach. Today I want to talk to you about making phone calls, and this is mainly in the work situation. And phone calls are always a challenge for people who stutter, and there's a lot of anxiety around it, but phone calling and being able to make phone calls is a necessary part of everybody's job. And so anyway, I want to take a little bit of time this morning and just talk about how I manage it and the sort of things that I go through and what enables me to make those phone calls, even though I might feel not wanting to make them. So the first thing is that I think what a lot of people who stutter might default to is sending an email. So don't make the phone call, but send an email through. That's okay, that's better than no contact, but in a work situation, depending of course on your job, but if you're in any type of sales type job, an email is not enough. By all means you can send an email in the first instance, but you've got to follow that up with a phone call. So first thing is to understand that you've really got to make the phone call. And then it's about the consequences of if I make that phone call and I have a stutter in that phone call, is that going to be a negative for me, particularly in terms of developing a business relationship. And there's a couple of things that I would recommend that we do to try to manage that sort of issue occurring. So first of all, make the decision, yes, I've got to make phone calls. So what I do each day is I have a list of people that I think I'm going to call that day. And that might be a cold call, it might be people that I know, or it might be me following up an email that I have sent in the previous week. So rule number one is to never start this cold. And what I mean by that, don't just pick up the phone and start making your phone calls, because the instance or the chance of you having a stutter or a block is, I believe, greatly increased if you do that. So you need to warm up. And the best way to warm up to making calls is to call a speech buddy, someone in your network who you can call and say, listen, I really need to do some practice, and actually go through with them a couple of calls. So you're actually treating that person as the client or the prospect that you're going to call, and you just practice your speech rates. Try to make it as natural and as comfortable as you can so it sounds normal, but at the same time it has to be well within your control. So slow, watch your heart contact sounds, all the things that you may do for your technique, whatever that is, but practice that and spend that first quarter hour just getting warmed up. And then with your phone call, when you go down through that list, make the easiest one first. So if there's anyone that you know on that list that you're going to have to call, this is obviously not one of your network, but an actual client or a prospect, call them. And so start with the easy ones first. And then just warm up to it. Be careful that as you make the phone calls, you don't start to speed up, because that will be a problem. Fundamentally, the other thing that I always think about is that, so what if I have a stutter? I have a stutter, I've got to make these phone calls. I'll do the best that I possibly can, and I'll get my message and the content that I want to get across to these people. That is better. It is better, in my opinion, to make the phone call and to have a couple of stutters than to just not make the phone call and rely on an email. So, you've really got to take the initiative, you've got to make the commitment that you will make the phone calls, make up your list of people that you're going to call. Make sure you don't start cold, but you actually ring someone in your speech network that you can practice with. Practice the phone call, actually role play a couple of phone calls, and then when you go to actually start making the call, start with the easiest ones first. And the more you do it, like anything in life, the more you do it, the easier it will become and the less anxiety. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about anxiety with a phone call. You will find that when you're actually ringing the phone and it's ringing and the other person hasn't picked up, your anxiety in that period of time may spike. So what I do to try to manage that is I breathe, I focus on my breathing, I relax as much as I can, and the self-talk that I give myself while I'm waiting for that person to pick up is, there is absolutely nothing wrong with having a stutter. I stutter, I'm doing the best I can, and I have a right to be heard. So everybody, good luck, get on the phone, make it happen. Don't let your speech slow your business down. There's no need for that. Get on the phone, make it happen. You'll be fine. Thanks. Talk soon.